Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Abby. I'm the owner of A Couple Tumblers and also A Couple Glitters. It does not feel real to be filming a YouTube intro right this second, just because I haven't filmed an intro in so long, so I am totally not used to being in front of camera, but it is totally a-okay. But for today, we are going to be trying out the new Lightning Cure Epoxy by the Epoxy Resin Store. And if you haven't heard about it, it is tack-free within 15 to 20 minutes. So you can put on another coat of epoxy and you can push out your tumblers super fast. So I'm going to be giving you guys a first impression kind of try out video of me using the epoxy. So before we get started, you guys already know what to do. Give me a big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button down below, and let's get to it. Okay, so this is what the epoxy looks like. This is part A and this is part B. Don't you worry, these are small bottles, but I did get the sample size just to try it out. On their website, they do have a 16-ounce kit and a 32-ounce kit. I can't remember if they had a gallon. I think they had a gallon earlier. Honestly, I'm not sure. But anyways, I am just going to put 15 mLs of part A, 15 mLs of part B in this medicine cup and start stirring. I did have some weird gunk in part B. It kind of looked like it hardened or crystallized a little bit. So when you do get it, just make sure that you do not have any crystallization in your part B, but it's totally okay. When I'm mixing this, I do realize that it is a thinner epoxy. So think of it when you warm up epoxy and it gets that really nice thin consistency. So it's really easy to mix and it doesn't take long to mix at all either. If you're like me and an aggressive stirrer, you're going to get some bubbles, but those bubbles go away once you torch it out or lay it on your cup. You can see here that there are a lot of bubbles due to mixing, but those bubbles really do go away once you put it onto the tumbler. And I didn't use a torch for the first two layers because I really wanted to see what this epoxy will be doing. And since it's over glitter, you can't really see bubbles anyways. So if there was any bubbles, it's really hard to see them. But I'm just going to put this onto the tumbler. It is a thinner type of epoxy like I mentioned before. So if you're doing it over glitter, I recommend doing 2 coats. Now I'm applying the epoxy like I normally would for any type of tumbler. And then I am going to do a time check for you. So once I am done putting this layer of epoxy on, I'll show you the time, and then that way we can check back when it is tack-free. The time is now 1:03 and we are going to check back in about 15 minutes to see if it is tack-free yet. The time is now 1:19, so let's see how this epoxy is drying. I'm curious to know if it is going to be still tacky or if it is going to be completely dry. So let's do a little touch test. I normally just touch the bottom, and right now it is still a little tacky. So I wouldn't go ahead and put another layer of epoxy on this. I am going to wait just a little bit more. Okay, the time is now 1:33, so 30 minutes have gone by since I put my first layer of epoxy on. And we're going to do a touch test, and the verdict is it is completely dry. So that is so nice. 30 minutes. Wow. I think it could have been shorter. The amount of time of drying time could have been shorter if I had my space heater on. But for this purpose, I didn't put my space heater on because I wanted to see what it would be like if my room was at my normal house temperature, because normally I work with liquidy split. So if you don't know liquidy split loves heat and you need a space heater in your room. But since I am pregnant right now and you can tell that I am already out of breath, I don't want to have to work with a respirator and a space heater in my room. So this is a really good alternative for right now. So I'm going to put another coat of epoxy on, and then we're going to see how long this coat takes to dry. I just finished putting on the second coat. It is 1:38 and I will check back with you to see how fast it dries. So I got a little distracted and now it's 2:12, so we're gonna do a touch test and we are going to see if this is dry. So this is dry. I can put my full hand on it and it doesn't feel tacky or anything, but I am going to let it dry just for a little bit longer before I put some decals and spray paint it, because this is going to be a peekaboo tumbler. It is now at 2:45 and I can completely take this off the turner. I feel confident enough that I can put some decals on it without the epoxy lifting. I can feel confident that I can sand this because this tumbler right here that I am touching does have some rough spots, so I am gonna have to sand this down a little bit before I put the decal and the spray paint on it. But you look at that shine, y'all. That shine is freaking incredible, and I am so happy with how this epoxy is going so far. Okay, time for some truth time. I put my first 2 coats of epoxy on in September. It is now October and I'm finally getting to finish this tumbler. So now I am putting on a 3rd coat of epoxy on this tumbler. I did a peekaboo, spray paint, and also the tack it method, so there is a little bit of glitter on this. And I am just going to put a 3rd coat like I normally would, and I will actually torch it this time just because it has a peekaboo on it, and I want to make sure that no bubbles show up on other layers of epoxy. The time is now 1:36, and I will check back with you in a little bit to see how fast this dries. It is now 2 o'clock, so a little less than 30 minutes since the time that I put my 3rd coat of epoxy on, and we're gonna see how well this dried. And it is completely dry. You can see me putting my hands all over it. It's not tacky, nothing's coming on my fingers, so I can fully say that this is done. But if I'm going to be 100% completely honest with you guys, I don't like the way that it feels. I prefer KS Resin Liquidy Split Ultra UV because it feels like glass, but Lightning Cure doesn't. So just keep that in mind. It is really shiny like you can see in this video, but it just does not have that glass-like finish. So keep that in mind. If it does happen to you, don't fret, just put another layer of epoxy on it. But that's basically all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you learned something from it. And if you have any questions or have something that you want to see next, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!